Hello guys, so here we are for our electronics tutorial and for the basics, and this is video number 2 of the basics. So in the last video we covered a little bit about amps, electrons, how they flow through, and how it can be used to light up a simple LED. Well, in this tutorial we're going to go into a little bit more depth about LEDs and a new component called resistors. And we're going to talk all about that. So let's go over what we learned last time and just a little bit of review, if you guys have forgotten. So as I said before, this is a breadboard right here. And remember in this, the lines right here, this is connected. There's a metal piece underneath that connects it electrically. And electrons only flow through conductors like metal. And right here, this is a two AA batteries, and that's what supplies our power. And that's just the right amount for such as something like an LED. So let's get right into it. So as you saw last time, this is a white LED. And let me show you some other LEDs. This is a red LED right here. And here's the yellow LED. And we even have a green LED right here. So, one of the most important things with LEDs is to use a resistor. And you might be wondering what that is. Here's what one looks like. And what a resistor does is it restricts current. And as I remember before, we talked about how electrons, the amount of or amps measures the amount of electrons in a certain area. And one of the big problems is that there might be too many electrons in a certain area. So you have to wonder about how do we stop the electrons so that there's not too many and it doesn't burn out a LED. So one of the most important things you can use is something called a resistor. And that stops the flow of electrons, so there'll be less electrons, and therefore won't be too much power. And one of the most basic applications for it is an LED. So something with LEDs is that they let as much current as possible through. And that's a big problem because therefore there ends up being too much current, the LEDs end up getting burned out. So that's why resistors is very important when using any LED. So resistors can be hooked up to either the positive or negative end of a battery and connecting to the LED. It doesn't matter which way resistors are, they're same both way. And how they work is that you can see that little piece in the middle. It's made of a certain material that conducts less electricity than metal would. And therefore it stops the flow of electricity so there's not too much. So let's connect the resistor to the positive end, as you can see I'm doing right there, of the end of the battery. And then connect the resistor to another row on the breadboard. I'm going to connect to this one right here. And then we're going to use wires we saw last time and connect it to the ground, or in other words, the negative end of the battery, and connect it to a row on the breadboard. And remember, as we said, the wire conducts electricity, and these rows have metal underneath them, and therefore they conduct electricity. And this is a metal right here, and it's going into the breadboard and connecting to the metal underneath. So now we're going to hook up the LED. This is my red LED. And to know how LEDs work, as you can see on the bottom, one leg is a little bit longer. It's this leg right here. It's a little bit longer than the other one. So that means the longer one is the positive one. So we look and we see that the resistor is hooked up to the positive end. So we hook the longer leg into the positive end and the shorter leg into the negative end. And as we stick it in, you can see LED lights up. And that's actually pretty bright because we used a small resistor. And a small resistor isn't size, but it's the amount of current it restricts. So that means this resistor doesn't restrict that much current. It allows more current than a bigger resistor you would use. And that's pretty simple, the circuit on that. It's just the wire hooked up to the negative and the resistor hooked up to the positive. And that connects to the rows on the breadboard, which are electrically connected. And then that connects to the LED. So let's try using a bigger resistor and see if the LED gets a little bit dimmer. So this is called a 47 ohm resistor, and ohms is what resistor is measured in. So let's try and use another one. And if you're wondering how resistors are, how you can tell which value it is, there's color bands on it, and that depends on what the value of the resistor is. We're going to go into that in another video. It's a pretty simple code to know which color is equivalent to each value. So this is a little bit bigger resistor. This is actually a 110 ohm resistor, and the other one is 47, so this is a little more than double. It's right there. Actually, this is brand new. I actually just got these today. And here, let me stick this in. So we're going to wire it the exact same way. except we're going to use the 110 ohm resistor instead of using the 47 ohm resistor. So let's connect that into there, just like we did before, and connect that into a row on the breadboard. So now let's connect that. We're going to use the same red LED we used and see if it gets the LEDs a little bit dimmer. So remember we said before, the longer leg on the LED goes to the positive and the shorter one goes to the negative. So we hook that up. As you can see, it looks a little bit dimmer. I remember before the computer screen was completely blinded by that red LED, but now it's visible. So as you can see, it's a little bit dimmer, and that's because the resistance is higher. This is 110 ohms, the other one is 47. So now we're going to be using an even bigger resistor, and we're going to see how it gets even dimmer and dimmer. So I'm going to show you a big resistor, but right before that, let's go to, this is a 110 ohm. Let's show you a 1000 ohm resistor. It's also abbreviated as 1K. So this isn't that much. The LED will probably be pretty dim though. So it's wired the exact same way. And we're going to hook up the resistor to the positive end. So you can see it's a lot dimmer. The LED is clearly visible. It's a lot dimmer, and that's because less current is going through. So the LED isn't getting as much power to light up. So therefore, it's not able to be as bright as it was once. So now let's use even a bigger resistor. This is the biggest resistor I have. It's called a 1 mega ohm resistor. In other words, 1 million ohms. So this is 1000 ohms. This one is a 1 million ohm resistor. And if you guys can guess what happens, let's plug this in. Here's got a red LED. And here's our 1 mega ohm resistor. Let's plug that in and see what happens. You can see it is nothing. It is not lit up. It may look a little bit up, but that's just because of the reflection in the computer case. Let's try blocking it's not on. That's just a reflection. But there we go. But it may look like it's on, but it's not on at all. Let me show you from the top. This LED is completely off, and the reason for that is because we used a 1 million ohm resistor, and it restricts all the current. It's such a high value that with this battery, there isn't any current that's able to get to the LED. So therefore, the LED has no power to turn on. So it's basically, there's such a big resistor, it's basically like the LED is not even on. Or it's basically like it's not even connected to any power. So there's a little bit basics on resistors. And just to let you know, whenever you're using an LED, it's always important to use a resistor value. Something between 100 and 220 ohms is a great value because it makes sure that the LEDs don't burn out. So there's a lot of different resistor values. They can range all the way from low to like 7 or 8 ohms, all the way up to the one I showed you, which is 1 mega ohm. That's a enormous amount. And thanks for watching this video. And to learn a little bit about resistors, in the next video, we'll probably cover the color code for resistors, but if you want to learn it yourself, it's pretty easy. Just Google or Yahoo or Bing to search resistor color codes, and there'll be a little graph that shows you how to read it. It's fairly simple. And I would definitely recommend getting some resistors, preferably 100 to maybe a 100 ohm resistor, some 220 ohm resistors, which are great for LEDs, and maybe some 1K ohm resistors for some other purposes, which I'll explain later. And thanks for watching this video. This is video number 2 in our electronics tutorial series. In our next video, we're going to cover some basics on using resistors, a little bit on some more components such as capacitors and switches. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. And thank you for watching this video.